Welcome back, learners. I hope you had a nice quick rest. Let's wrap up our practice and application section. So we were looking at representing data, specifically the bar graph and also the histogram. Then we defined the bar graph as a graph that shows the frequency of one data value per category by means of bars used for discrete categorical data. We are given there the nicest fruit, the fruits there, and the number of people that enjoy that fruit. Then we go to the next one, sorry about that. We go to the histogram. A histogram, we defined it as a graph used to display continuous data. For an example, we were given there the heights of the black cherry trees and also the number of those trees. Class intervals was explained as a subdivision of data into intervals or groups, which each class interval having the same width in order to be comparable. Because remember, we always compare units that are the same or items that are the same. Then the class interval example is an interval of 10 data points. Between 10 and 19, we've got 10, and between 20 and 19, we've got 10. We've also defined the word frequency, and we define it as the number of times something appears or happens. For an example, the frequency of color blue is 37%. So it means if this is the learner's favorite color, it means 37% of the learners preferred color blue than other colors. Then the common errors that we might come across is, firstly, a histogram represents continuous data, not discrete. So you can never represent discrete data on a histogram. Then on a histogram, there are no spaces in between the bars. So when you draw a histogram, you make sure that you do not include spaces in between the bars. Or when you're analyzing any graph that is given to you and you see it with spaces in between the bars, you must know that is not a histogram. Then a bar graph represents discrete data. So we use a bar graph to represent discrete data, not continuous data. And on a bar graph, there are spaces in between. So once you draw a graph with spaces in between, that has bars and spaces in between, then you must know that you've drawn a bar graph. And then all the time when you're drawing either a histogram or a bar graph, all the intervals should always be equal. Then let's look at the question that I want you to do during your spare time. Mr. Ntluli likes gardening. He measures some of the trees he has in his garden. We've got the graph there with the tree heights and the number of trees given there. Mr. Ntluli wants to reduce the maximum height of the majority trees. The maximum height of the majority trees by 25%. Now, if he wants to reduce it by 25%, what must you do? Now you must calculate the new height. The new reduced height by 25%. This I would like you to do during your spare time. Thank you so much for tuning in for our class, and I hope that you enjoyed the lesson well, and also you understand the bar graph and the histogram. Now you can identify the differences between the two graphs. I hope to see you again next time. Thank you. Bye.